Got rings on her fingers that sound like mercury. She never paints her nails till I can get her from nicotine.
What's up, brothers? You know what it is. Eddie from 802 Diesel Crew. Today I decided that we'd probably go through my Snap-on box here, my little truck box filled with Harbor Freight tools, and check out what I use at home. Now, I want to warn you, this box is not as organized as my work box, but that's okay because this is for small home projects and some DIY stuff, and then this is what I throw in my truck if I go on a trip, along with some other bags and a Stanley kit. So stay tuned, let's check it out. So this is a pretty old box. It's a Snap-on. Forgot the actual model number, but you know, it has like the old school I make my living with Snap-on tools, please don't ask to use them kind of sticker on it. And then folds up like that, and it has the original Snap-on decal right in the front. My original idea was to go ahead and, you know, like get this thing back to, you know, like 100%, use Snap-on paint, sand it all down, soda blast it. But I decided, you know, I got it for $10. I might as well use it and enjoy it. If I cleaned it up really nice, then I probably wouldn't fill it with tools and I wouldn't use it. And it would end up being some kind of showpiece. And that's not really what I want to use it for. I want it to live out its life as a, you know, as a used box, and maybe at some point we can clean it up. But for right now, I love the patina of it, and it just has a ton of character. So let's get into this thing. As you can see, it still operates the way it should. Starting in the back row here, we just have like a multi-tool. This is from Walmart. I think it was like a Tough, I forget the brand, it's Tough something, but you know, it's always good to have a nice quick little multi-tool. Got some Harbor Freight sockets here that go from 10 up to 30 millimeter. Next drawer, to save some money, I did ASC, and it goes from 7/16 up to 1 inch, right? Got some SAE swivels. I haven't got a chance to use these but a couple times, but they've held up pretty good. Not too sure about this whole spring setup that holds the head in, the universal part, but we'll see how that turns out. These are just some miscellaneous metric sockets that I have had laying around, so I threw them in a Snap-on magnetic tray. I got some Torx here. It goes from T60 down to T10. Those are good. I use those a lot in my trucks, so those are good to have in here. Front row here, we have a little scraper, like a windshield or a decal scraper. You know, just cheap, works good. Got a Craftsman 3/8 swivel head, non-locking. You know, little die-hard. That thing does a lot of work. Got a full set of Harbor Freight crow's feet. There, the size is right there, 3/8, 7/16, ½ inch. And you can read the rest there. Is there a part number on here? No part number. Okay. And then I have the similar metrics, and that's what's carried in those. These are good for, you know, you just have those areas where you can't really get in with a ratchet and a socket, so you put this on, and then you can use your breaker bar. You can use your ratchet just to break it free, so you can either, you know, take it off by hand or then use a different fastener. Always keep a pair of scissors. These are sharp. I always get these in like one of those beard trimmer kits. They're wicked sharp, like beauty scissors, but they're good for cutting almost anything, like a smaller gauge wire or a t-shirt, rag, anything that you need. It's good to have a set of sharp shears in there. Got a punch, then a bunch of miscellaneous extensions here. There's some Wobble Plus in there. These are all from Harbor Freight again, you know, the Pittsburgh brand, along with some impact rated extensions. It's good to have like a little magnet kicking around. For whatever reason, you can tie a rope to this if you needed to, or if you're walking around, what I used to use it for, if you're walking around old cars in like junkyards, even though it's painted, you can walk around, you can put this to the side of the car, and if it doesn't attach, then you know essentially that body panel has Bondo in it. So it's a cool little thing to have. Overall, that's that top drawer. Pretty organized. So let's go on to the next one. The next drawer down, I have you know, like a utility knife, paint pen, some gasket maker, Loctite, Harbor Freight scraper, some Stanley hex head, or Allen keys. I call them hex heads because it's actually it's the proper name. But Allen keys. Shout out to Harley Adams. He had sent me these ratchets, 3/8 and a half inch. These live in the box, along with a old Industro 1/2 inch. Pretty sweet. Got some Harbor Freight focus, Pittsburgh swivel ratcheting wrenches. I believe it's 15, 14, 13, 12. And then 10. Good little set right there. They've lasted, you know, relatively well. They haven't backed out or anything. And I do use them a lot. So these are a good buy. If you're looking for some swivel ratcheting wrenches, definitely look into these. They're relatively cheap and have held up. So yeah, I give those a thumbs up. Lastly, over here is just my longer extensions. And then I have some battery terminal covers. Those usually come in handy for different things. So that's that drawer. This is gotta hold that one, hold this one, boom. You got a small variety of screwdrivers here. These ones are from Harbor Freight. It's a pretty big kit. I do have a secondary bag that has the rest of them in it. But these are the ones I have in my box. A couple C-clamps, you never know. These really come in handy. I've put exhaust back together and held them with these just for the time being. You know, like those things always come in handy. I have a pretty complete set of wrenches, both SAE and metric. Good combination of, you get some Pittsburgh in there, some more Pittsburgh, ADT, Ace Hardware. Over here I noticed a lot of, let's see here, what's this brand? Powercraft. I think that's just like a cheaper brand. I don't know, somebody can correct me on that. So Motocraft, Pittsburgh, another Pittsburgh, and the rest of these are Pittsburgh. So as you can see, guys, I mean, going through this box here, I do have a lot of Harbor Freight stuff in here. And I'm not saying that it all holds up that well. Like these screwdrivers have actually broken quite a few of them. You know, down in there, it doesn't really, the shank doesn't go in far enough, so you kind of just, you know, when you have that massive torque, you break the heads right off these things. Then through the middle here, you always got to have some extra 10 millimeters. You know, you're always losing those. So let's see what the next drawer brings. Next drawer I have, you know, a hammer, dead blow, all from Harbor Freight. A full set of, you know, the slip joint pliers. A set of, these are really good for crimping butt connectors or whatever else. but these will save your day. You know, if you're always messing them up, these are what's gonna like kind of save you. A couple measuring devices, measuring tapes, old pair of vice grips, some micro pliers here for different cuttings and whatnot, pair of strippers. This is a filter wrench, run mostly you know, Cummins diesels, so this is a filter wrench for those. That's pretty much it for that drawer. Oh, let's not put that in right. Like that. Went like that. Had that in there so it fit just perfectly, but now obviously, okay, got to rearrange that again. But that's my small little snap-on box filled with Harbor Freight tools that have been holding up great. If you're one of those DIY guys, I mean, I don't see any problem in owning Harbor Freight sockets, wrenches, things like that that are nice hardened metals. If you're not using them day in and day out, you're never gonna, like, if you break them, they can just bring them back to Harbor Freight. Whereas, you know, it's good for me in the heavy industrial side to be able, you know, the snap-on guy shows up every week. Give him something and then he can replace it. Whereas, you know, the DIY guy can go home and drive back up to Harbor Freight and trade his stuff in. Then lastly, I usually carry, you know, like a fender cover. My line of DeWalt's, you know, the XR. I think this is 1,000 foot-pounds. It does everything that I need it to do at home here. This little guy is awesome for doing like engine interior stuff. Inside the engine bay stuff. And then this drill has never failed me. I always use it for cleaning up you know, like surfaces that need to be painted, or if I need to find a part number or something, you just throw a, you know, a wire wheel on there and you're good to go. So these haven't let me down. The batteries on them are kind of chintzy. You can see I got that taped up, but they do last and they're good. You know, they're a good product. I just like Milwaukee as well. All the stuff that I carry on the usual or have in my garage, you know, a good pair of work gloves. You know, people call them bitch mittens or whatever else, but they really save the day. In here, got a bunch of miscellaneous, like hose clamps from Harbor Freight. Those suck. These ones are from work and from other places a little bit stronger. If you're running a boosted truck or whatever, they always pop in V-bands and stuff. Got a flashlight, always handy. Paper towels and Windex, the perfect thing to clean your hands in a pinch. Always keeping those around. Extra screwdrivers, electrical tape, breaker bar, aka the top of my jack, PB blaster, good lubricant in a pinch. Got the Harbor Freight breaker bar and the Stanley kit. This Stanley kit right here has been awesome. I rebuilt a whole truck pretty much with this Stanley kit and those DeWalt's there. Pretty much rebuilt a whole freaking truck with that stuff. And always some zip ties. And we still got the garage is still here. Still got plenty of stuff in here. It's not as organized as I usually like, but this is where my toolbox usually lives, and all my stuff on the wall. Plate in the world, 4.5. 45 caliber is the best caliber, along with 9mm. Woo, it's dark in here now. Oh, sorry. Hope you guys enjoyed that quick little video of the snap-on box filled with mostly Harbor Freight stuff. As you can see, you know, I would say I'm a professional wrench for the most part, and at home I use Harbor Freight, Ace Hardware, Stanley. I use the cheaper brands. Why? Because they're not getting the same amount of use day in day out that my work tools are. They're cheap. I can go right up to the store and replace them, and you know, I wouldn't say they're disposable tools, but it's not like losing a $150 snap-on wrench or something like that. It's just, these are something that I could cut up and weld together to make a specialty tool in a heartbeat, and I really wouldn't care. So we'll get into more specific comparisons and things like that. I just wanted to share my home setup, my truck setup, kind of my grab. Like if my buddy called and said he was stuck on the side of the road, I just grab this whole kit, one or two of my bags, throw them in my truck with my DeWalt stuff, and pretty much have everything I need organized in one spot and just ready to take off. So as always, you know who it is, your brother Eddie from 802 Diesel Crew, signing out. See you on the next one, brothers.
Carnival of souls. Another night settles in as quickly as it goes. The